Hi everyone and welcome to PW Skills Tech YouTube channel. My name is Raghav and today we are going to cover a very essential topic in our C programming series, which is loops. So we have already studied about the basics, which were input output operators and variables, and then we covered conditionals, if else, ternary statement, switch statement. Now we are in the conditionals part. I told you that okay, this is programming, this is thinking, this is decision making. A lot of times in programming there is a word repetition and a pattern, right, that we are doing this thing multiple times, or maybe a collection of things we need to store somewhere, but we need to iterate over a set or maybe a collection, maybe a list. So for that we are going to study today loops. So let's start with the lecture itself without wasting any more time. So what and why? Why loops? Why loops and what are loops exactly? So I think it is very clear from the name itself that loop means kind of again and again and again repetition. So for example, if you have to print hello world 100 times in 100 different lines, what will you do? Will you write the same exact thing 100 times? Definitely no. Then what can we exactly do? Let's first begin very slowly with, for example, I want to print hello world 10 times. And with this, you will get to know what a loop is. Initially, we will be studying for loop, while loop, and yes, for loop, while loop, do while loop. All three loops are being covered in this same lecture, right? So let's move on to here. And now I am going to code in Visual Studio Code only. Yes, you can use Replit. You can use Replit. I was using Replit for the conditionals and for the basics. So you can use Replit, which is an online IDE sort of thing, right? The Replit is booting. And I made two big folders, basics and conditionals, for lecture 1 and lecture 2 respectively. You can make one more folder named loops over here and then you can code. But I will highly suggest you guys to please install the VS Code. I don't know why a lot of guys are having problems in installation. Just please have a very calm mind. Go over to YouTube tutorials, right? A lot of guys have uploaded how to install VS Code, including me. So if it is still giving any error, please go to the website. Please go to Google, type that particular error. They will give you solution. But it will take some time if it is not able to install. Please do it very slowly, because if you don't set the path, it can be troublesome. But once the Visual Studio Code is installed perfectly, Visual Studio Code is installed very nicely. The only problem that you guys face is to install the compiler of C and C++ min-GW. That is problematic. So it is not problematic. The problem with you guys is that you watch videos with 2x speed, or maybe you skip things. You will never in your life be able to install this simple thing known as VS Code and the min-GW. So just have patience and download this thing, because in future this will be helpful. This is necessary. Okay, so we are over here, VS Code English. I made a folder. This is to make a file. This is to make a folder. I'll make a folder loops and I'll do everything over here. I am in this folder. I click over files exactly like Replit only. Like Replit is like this. First of all, this came first. So I'll make a file hello world. So it kind of gives emits. Yes, emits. So just press enter. Entire thing will be there. For example, I do this. Okay. I'm not typing much, as you can clearly see. Right. It is doing a lot of work for me itself. Right. Anyways, coming to this. I have to print hello world 10 times. So this is how you print hello world 10 times in different lines. So backslash n. What you can do is one, like the worst method is to like give an enter and type these things again and again. But we never do this thing in coding. So a better way is obviously to just copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 was already there. So 10 times hello world will be printed. Go over here, run code, and you can clearly see 10 times hello world is printed perfectly. Now one more method is something like this, that if you want to print it 100 times, so again I won't copy paste 100 times. What I can simply do is, okay, 10 is already here. Let me just copy paste this thing, copy and paste. Now this is 20, so I'll copy paste this thing. Now it is 40. I think you guys are getting it, what I'm trying to say, right? So, but this is very weird. For printing 10 or 100 or 1 lakh times, if I want to print hello world, will I just copy paste like this? No. If you want to print similar thing, or maybe in this case exact same thing multiple times, you use loops. I will write the syntax of loops. Now it is like if statement. Inside if you write condition, and here you write whatever you have to write, right, between these two curly brackets, right? Perfect. So the for loop syntax is kind of similar. You write for, then you make parenthesis. Parenthesis is basically round brackets, right? And here you write the thing that you want to be repeated. So inside I want to write this thing, cut and paste. This I want to be get repeated. So tab, right? Tab gives 4 spaces, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Sometimes it gives 2 as well, but whatever. So this thing will be repeated. Now here I will write some things, but I will explain you in a while. So I write int I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. I run this code, and as you guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times hello world is printed. I will do a very slight modification. Instead of this 10, if I write 4, I'm only modifying this thing. Forget about this semicolon, int I is equal to 1, declaration, initialization, increment, or a condition. Forget about all these things. Run this code. 4 times hello world is printed. So even at this point of time, if you are unaware of what C programming is, it is very clear that, okay, if I change this 4 to maybe 7, so it will be printed 7 times. Let me run this code again. It will be printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, right? If I change it to 2, it will be printed 2 times. Yes. If I change it to 50, it will be printed 50 times. As you guys can see, these are 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 times hello world is printed. If I change it to 5000, it will be printed 5000 times, right? So let's talk about, first of all, let's do it, give it 5 only. Run it again. 5 times hello world is printed. This is known as a for loop. This is a for loop, and it is very clear that if I want to print similar or same things again and again, n number of times maybe, I can use for loops, right? Perfect. In fact, here, because right now, as of now, we only know that if I change this particular number, this is the number of times the inner thing will be printed. And we can give multiple inner things. For example, we want to print hello world and hello PW in 2 lines, and I want to repeat these 2 things 5 times. Will it be possible? Yes. Hello world, hello PW, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, so we can use multiple lines also, but that was only just to tell you that yes, it is possible, just like conditionals, if else. Perfect. If I want to take a variable as well, like if I want to print hello world n or m number of times, like this. If I say int n, I say printf, enter a number, right? We all know that what I'm doing. I am taking the input. So scanf, I say %d, %d and n. So I did nothing. I just took a number input n because I wanted that, okay, n times to hello world be printed. Yes, it will be printed. Let's run this code. Enter a number. I say 5. 5 times hello world is printed. Yes, so we can make it variable as well. 3 times the hello world is printed. Right. If I say 12 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Why is it 11? Let me do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, of course it will be right. So variable times, if I want to print anything n number of times, I can do that as well. Okay, right? Perfect. Now let's dry run this code and see the internal working, that how many times and why 5 or n number of times hello world is printed, right? Let's do the dry run, proper dry run for this code and understand what is happening. Okay, abhi ke liye to we were just blindly accepting the fact that it is happening. So you can see this is kind of the code and syntax, but we will do the dry run. So this is the question, basically print hello world n number of times, take n as input from user. We solved this question, but how was it working? That was a scene. I'm only taking this part of the code because it is very obvious that how to take n input. So I think you guys may be able to do it. So this is the code. Okay, so this is the code. Let me dry run this code and show you how it works. Okay, I'm going to tell you how it works. And please do not skip or increase the speed of the video to 2x. 1.5 is okay. But if you increase it and if you have absolute no idea of what a for loop is, you will never in your life understand how it is working, right? So please just, you can understand in your life after you read it again. But anyways, let's go to here. So first of all, this is very simple, that whatever is between these two curly braces, curly brackets, this particular thing or maybe multiple lines, it is known as the body of the loop. So this part is known as the body of the loop. Of course, in the body, we can have multiple lines, what we want to repeat. So body of the loop means the thing that we want to repeat, the thing that is printed and we want it to be printed again and again. Okay. You can clearly see that these are three things. Int I is equal to 1. We know what it is. It is declaration and initialization. But inside for, anyways, let's go to here. Then there is a semicolon and then there is a condition. What is this? I is less than equal to n. A is less than equal to b. What is it? It is a condition. Okay. Less than equal to. Relational operator. We have already studied it. Then we have I plus plus. What is I plus plus? It is nothing but I is equal to I plus 1. Right? So I plus plus is nothing. It means I is equal to I plus 1. Like there is a difference, but in general it is the same thing. So if I write I is equal to I plus 1 over here, same thing. Okay, the short form of this is I plus plus as of now. Right, so there are three things. We know that this is updation or incrementing I. This is a condition and this is known as declaration initialization. So yes, these three are parameters of the for loop. And now I will tell you that why is it happening that, okay, if n is 3, for example, I'm just taking an example. If n is 3, then why is it happening that I'm taking the dry run over here? That, okay, 3 times hello world is printed, but why? 3 times hello world is printed, but why 3 times hello world is printed? I will tell you that. Okay, so there are some steps that you need to follow. I'm writing those steps over here. So these are the steps. Okay, so let me not make this thing. So there are in total 4 steps. Out of them, 1 is not repeated, other 3 are repeated. So it is like this. First of all, the initialization, and yes, this I is a variable. You can call it loop variable. Initialization and declaration. Like initialization here means declaration also, but declaration is not that necessary. Anyways, then what we do is check condition. Then we go inside loop, maybe basically body of the loop. Then we increment. These are the 4 steps. Out of them, these 3 steps are on a loop. Matlab, they are repeated. So let me just dry run using these 3 steps. First of all, initialization. I go to for loop. I go over here. Okay, so int I is equal to 1 clearly. I is equal to 1. A box of I which is equal to 1 is created. Okay, I'm making a big box. I is equal to 1. Anyways, now the biggest mistake students do is, what they do is, okay, int I is equal to 1, then they do this, then this, then this. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4. No, these are not the steps. Okay, this is happening only once it is done. Make a tick mark. Now we will do these 3 steps again and again. First of all, check the condition. Check the condition means these conditions. So what is I? I is 1. What is n? N is, for example, 3. Is 1 less than equal to 3? Yes. Yes. If it is true, then go below. If it is false, break the loop. It is finished. Please remember. Okay. So it is true right now. 1 is less than 3. Okay. Go inside loop. So I go inside here, not here. This is done. Then 1, 2, 3. These are the steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A U. Okay. So I did this, checked, true. I went inside printf. Oh, it says, okay, print hello world and give a next line as well. So print hello world and give a next line as well. Perfect. Then this is done. This is done. Increment is happening. So I plus plus means I is equal to I plus 1. It becomes 2. Again, repeat these things. Check condition. This is only done once. Once repeated. These 3, 1, 2, 3. So I checked. Okay, I is 2. Is 2 less than equal to 3? Yes. Go inside. Print hello world. Okay, done. Okay, done. Next line as well. Then 1, 2, 3. Increment. I plus plus. I is equal to 3. Then again, same things. Check condition. Is 3 less than equal to 3? Yes, it is equal to 3. Then go inside loop. Hello world. Hello world is printed. Then what you do is increment. I plus plus. 3 increments to 4. I plus plus mean 4s. Again, check these 3 things. Repeat these 3 things. So check condition. I say 4. Is 4 less than equal to 3? No, false. Whenever it is false, then I do not do this and this step. Over. The loop is over. What was printed is printed. Okay. So this is how the loop runs. Basically, the loop clearly runs as many times as the value of I changes. Like I was 1, how many times did it change? 1, 2, 3. So it changed 3 times in general, 3 times this is printed. Right, so this is how the for loop works. So one more thing, like if I say that I'm commenting this part of the code and I'm saying from 1 to 5 and I'm running the code. So the hello world will be printed 5 times. Okay. But why was it printed 5 times? We just right now saw it that okay, if n was 3 or maybe 5, what was happening was the number of time this is printed is it depends on the values which I take. So I is changing the values. So it is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will print for 1 it will print, for 2 it will print, for 3 it will print, for 4 it will print, for 5 it will print. These are the 5 hello worlds. But when I is 6, then 6 is not less than 5. That is the breaking condition of the loop and then the loop terminates. Right. So this is what happens. But what if we do something? If it only depends on the initial value of I, the final value of I that I can take and then it will be out of the loop. And the jump of I, it is known as a jump which is by 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, only one jump. What if I say that, okay, it is 11 to 15. What will be the case? 5 times hello world will be printed, no difference. Absolutely no difference at all. What I'm trying to say is if it is 12 to 16, the loop will be printed 5 times only. Again, no difference in the code, in the actual thing. Why? But I is not 1. Because initially it is 12, then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 5. 5 times it is printed. Then I is 17 and it breaks out of the loop. This is how the code works. So you should remember it, right? These are very, very basic things that I think nobody tells you in the beginning, but I'm telling you. All right, let's move ahead and talk more about loop. We know that the various parameters are very, very simple. There are the variable of loop, what I can call variable of the loop. Usually it is I. And one more thing, it is not required that the variable is I. For example, if I say for int a is equal to 1 and then I say a less than equal to 5, then I say a plus plus, it's absolutely valid. There is no problem, right? So anything can be the case, but all three are of course the same thing. And if we are using this thing in the loop, then again we will change everything. So usually we use I. Why? Because it is a standard, right? Anyways, then we know the various parameters are the declaration, initialization, right? Here is the condition, very, very important. And here is the increment, again, very, very important. Now it can be decrement as well. I will show you in a while, okay, while solving some questions. But anyways, let's move on to here. Now the question is print numbers from 1 to 100. So I have to print 1 to 100 and something like this, that okay, 1, then you can give a space, maybe then 2, or maybe you can give a next line, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 100. Or maybe 10, whatever. 1 to n, you have to print 1 to n, n is user input. How to do that? Here, nothing is being repeated. In the case of hello world, the inner statement is same, so it is being repeated via the loop. But now I want different things to be printed on different lines. But there is a pattern. It is simply table of 1, right? And please tell me, if I print hello world 10 times using the for loop and I say for int I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 10. I 100% know that I plus plus. I plus plus means that okay, I was 1, then 2, 3, 4, 1 jump. I less than equal to 10 means I can be 11, but if I is 11, the loop breaks. So from 1 to 10, the value of I is valid for the body, right? So instead of printing hello world, if I print I itself, because I is changing its value from 1, 2, 3. Please just understand. In this code, if hello world is printed 5 times, then I was 1, I was something, I is a variable, I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, I is 4. Just print instead of hello world, what you can print is an I. You can print the I and give a next line as well. This is your choice. Are you getting it? What I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say? Just print the I. Let me run this code. 1 to 5. Are you getting it? If I say enter n, okay, over here 1 to n, I will print the numbers. Okay, enter n, I say 12, 1 to 12, all the numbers are printed. So if I say 100, 1 to 100, every single number is printed. Are you guys getting it? Because the value of I was changing, so I printed the I. So this line looks the same, but after every single round, now these rounds are known as, these rounds are known as iterations. Iterations means only that, for example, n is 10. So 10 times this loop is running. 10 times the 3 steps are repeating. That are iterations. So it has n number of iterations because n times the loop will run. Okay. So rounds or iterations it is called. I think you guys are getting it. It is very, very simple how to print 1 to 100 numbers. One more thing. If I want to print 100 to 1 dot c, I'm making a file over here. Let me just copy and paste the things over here. So I definitely know that to print 1 to 100, it is very simple. I don't even need n. 1 to 100, this is the simple 3-line code to print numbers from 1 to 100. Okay. If you want to print in the same line, but with a space, you can see. From 1 to 100, I printed every single number. Right. What if I want to print the numbers from 100 to 1? How can I do that? Here comes the decrement part. So how 1 to 100 is being printed is something like this, that I has the value 1, I has the value 2, and then 3, 4, 5. What if I started from 100? First of all, can we do 100 to 200? Yes. In fact, if I want to print numbers from A to B, for example, I want to print numbers from 14 to 123. It is simple. 14, 15, 16 to 123. Yes. So if I want to print 100 to 1, first of all, I want to print 100 to something. So for example, 100 to 123. I printed the numbers. I plus plus means if I write I is equal to I plus 1, it is the same damn thing. For example, 100 to 200. Simple. I am not even changing a lot of things in the code. 100 to 200 is being printed. Right? I is equal to I plus 1. What if I do something like this, that okay, I want the value of I to be 100 and then 99 and then 98. So decrease it by 1 in every round, after every round. So very simple. If I decrease the value and I say 100 to 1, I will do greater than equal to 1. Please understand, I did not just change this number, I also changed the condition from less than equal to, initially it was this, less than equal to 200. It is now greater than equal to. Why? Why? Because it is initially 100, then it becomes 99. Is 99 greater than 1? Yes. So I will check the opposite condition, right? Is a particular number greater than the 1 because it is decreasing. Very, very simple. So now if I run the code, 100 to 1, the numbers are being printed. Perfect. I can also do I minus minus. So this is known as, you can say, reverse loop, like decreasing loop, but it does the job. Similarly, you can print 1000 to 800, the numbers will be printed. If I say 1000 to 800, yes, in decreasing fashion, 1000, 999, 800. It is being done, right? It is not a big deal. It is not a big deal. I minus minus means I is equal to I minus 1. And I think there is a problem. Let me do the dustbin. Let's run the code again. So from 100 to 1, the things are printed. Perfect. I think you guys are getting it. Now let's move to the next part. I'm giving a lot of emphasis to this part because this is important. Anyways, the question. Print all the even numbers from 1 to 100. So now I want that your particular output should be either 2, 4, 6, 8, or you can print this also 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 100, like in multiple whatever lines, right? So can you do this thing? First of all, please pause the video. You should be able to do this thing yourself. From 1 to 100, I am only printing the even numbers. If the number is even, then only I am printing the number. I gave you the hint. If you haven't studied conditionals if else, please go away from this video. You will understand nothing. Study if else statement. It is a piece of cake. Okay, so let's print the numbers. So what I will do is, I will exactly copy paste a code. So 1 to 100 even dot c. I'll copy paste the code. I will copy paste the code. I'll remove the n. I want 1 to 100. Right, this prints 1 to 100 for sure in different lines. So if I want in same line, so let's run the code again. So this prints 1 to 100. I only have to do a single thing. This line, give it a condition that okay, do not print this thing every single time. Just do this, that, cut it, right? If print I am printing I, right? I am printing what? I am printing I. Yes, print I, but if only I is an even number, and I won't tell you that what this thing means. If you don't know, you should not know. Okay, then please study. But yes. So if I is an even number, I am printing it. Now you can see 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 100. Only those numbers who are even are being printed. First of all, your first homework, very obvious, print all the odd numbers from 1 to 100. Very, very simple. You just need to change the condition from even to odd. And secondly, you have one more homework. Print the numbers. Yeah, print all numbers. Print all numbers from 1 to 100 which are either divisible by 5 or 3. Either divisible by 5 or 3 or both. Like it all when I say either divisible by 5 or 3, it means both also, but yes, so I should not even write it. So what I want is from 1 to 100 you should print 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 21, 24, 25. I'm sorry if I missed something. Whatever numbers that are in the table of this. So this is your homework, right? Perfect. This is also your homework. Before moving ahead, before printing the table of 19, and let's do this thing. Let's first solve this question of print the table of 19. The table clearly means that you should print 19 and then 38 and then 57, then 76, then 95, then what is, I think it is 114, yes, then 133, then 152, yes, 171 and 190. Right, you have to print this or whatever, print the table of n. I think it is a homework. Yes, the homework is print the table of n. N is a user input. Okay, how to print? So it is very simple, that basically I want to print numbers starting from 19. I know the first condition, ending to 190, the maximum number, and starting from 19 ending to 190. I can do I++, and I can only print those numbers which are divisible by 19, because any number which comes in the table of 19 is divisible by 19. So I can copy paste this code. Here I can make a table of 19 code. Right? I can copy paste this particular code, not just this printing. Copy paste, and I can start the numbers from 19. Okay, I can even start from 1, but I do not need to print 1. I need numbers from 1 to 90, 19 to 190, and only those numbers which are divisible by 19. Then only I will print. So this code will work. But this is a very bad code. Clearly you can see the table of 19. Now here the problem. The problem is that if I ask you guys that how many iterations are there in this particular code, what will you say? I will say around 172 or 171, whatever, right? Why? Because this loop is running 170 times. You are not getting it. The things being printed are only 10. 10 things are printed. But the value of I is changing how many times? 172 times. Loop is running. Why? Because 19, then I becomes 20. Okay, I'm doing I++. I am doing I plus is equal to 1. Basically 1 is being added, or maybe I is equal to I plus 1. Same thing, right? Same thing. So I am adding 1 to I every single time. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Only those who are divisible by 9 are printed. 19 are printed. Now what if I do something? I play games with the jump. I didn't change the jump as of now too much. What I'm telling you is initially I is 19. Let's do something. Every single time add 19 to I, because then it will be 19 plus 19, 38, 38 plus 19, 57. It will automatically become the table of 19. I do not even want to use the if condition, right? Let's talk about the code. So let's copy this and comment this. We will do a better code that will only run 10 times. Yes, instead of 172 times, which is 17 times faster. The code is 17 times faster. It will run fast, right? Because less things are running. I do not even want this condition. I'm only doing 19 to 190 print I, but every single time the jump is 19. Even this code will run. See, the table of 19 is there, right? You can do it with 17 as well. Like if I say 17, 17 table goes till 170, and you can add 17. The table of 17 exactly is being printed, right? You can also do the table of n. Here 10 into n, and I plus is equal to n. Simple. So this is a much better code. I guess you guys are understanding the significance of number of rounds, right? I will teach you in this particular thing in time and space complexity. But let's move on to here. So here also, when I am doing the 1 to 100 even number code, how many numbers are printed actually? From 2 to 100, how many even numbers are there? 50 even numbers. So 50, but no. 100 rounds are there in this loop. Why? I do not care about if it is printing. The point is, how many times is this loop running? 100 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 100. Only those who are divisible by 2 were printed. But if I do something else, if I say that for 50 things, I do not need 100 rounds. I only need 50 rounds. Of course, I will need 50 rounds minimum. What I say is I can do something like this. Okay, first of all, start with 2. Okay, because I do not need 1. I want 2 to be printed, but then 4, then 6, then up to 100. And I will change the condition from I plus plus to I plus is equal to 2. Or you can do this particular thing as well. I is equal to I plus 2. It means add 2 every single time. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now you are not even required to put the if condition. Let's run the code. Simple. Just this jump thing is changing so many things. 2 to 100, it is 100 by the way. Yes. So 2 to 100, every single thing number is being printed. Yes, perfect. So this is definitely a better code compared to this. I think you guys are getting it. This is a better code compared to that, the 100 rounds. Okay, there is a one more mathematical method that you can try. The mathematical method is something like this. That has also 50 rounds. Like, that is not compulsory for you guys to study, but still. The third method is very nice. What I do is I print numbers from 1 to 50 with a single increment only. Okay, so what will happen? Very simple. 1 to 50, every single number is printed. Okay, 1 to 50, I plus plus means only one jump. What I can do is, okay, I know for certain that if I double every single number from 1 to 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. So it will become 2 to 100. So if I print instead of I, I will print I into 2. It will also give 2 to 100. So like that was a trick. And of course, it is also running 50 times because the value of I is changing 50 times. Okay, so these are the 3 very nice methods that you can use. Like, this is a good method. This 100 is not that good method, right? This is the table of 17 or 19 or whatever you want to say it is. Absolutely perfect, right? So let's move on to the next thing. These are known as optimizations. Okay, this is your homework. Print the table of n. Take n a user input and then print the table. Okay. So now some mathematics is coming here. Worry not. First of all, if you have studied arithmetic progression in class 10th, this is a piece of cake. If you haven't studied 10th class mathematics or for some reason you were lazy at that time, no problem. There is a method number 2 as well. Please study this method 1 also. It will be helpful, but there is a method number 2 as well. Without maths, we can print any arithmetic progression. Okay, so arithmetic progression is something like this. So this is the arithmetic progression, and these are just odd numbers, to be honest. So we can move to the next question. Yes, we will move to the next question only. We can discard this particular slide, in fact, not required. Now this is your classwork. I'm saying question. Right, perfect. So I have to print an arithmetic sequence or progression 4, 7, 10, 13, 16 up to n number of terms. So those of you who do not know what arithmetic progression is, it is very simple. For example, I write a series in front of you, which is 4, then I write 9, then I write not 9, I write 10, then I write 16, I write x, then I write 28. So can you identify what this x is? Very, very simple. Like, a second class student can also solve this. He can see that, okay, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 6 is 16, 16 plus 6 should be 22, 22 plus 6 is 28. So this is an arithmetic progression. These are known as series progressions, so with some particular fashion. But arithmetic progression is something like between any two terms consecutive, the difference is the same. For example, 7 minus 4 is 3, 10 minus 7 is 3, 13 minus 10 is 3, 16 minus 13 is 3. The next term must be 19. So that 19 minus 16 is also 3. Now I have to take n as user input first of all. So int n, scanf and n, simple. And for example, if I'm just giving you an example. For example, I say n is equal to 8. So your answer should be up to 8 terms. You will print this series, meaning 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. So these are 5 terms, 6 terms. Then what I'm adding is 3. So 7 terms. 8 terms. This should be my answer. If I say n is equal to 18, so I will print the first 18 terms of this series. I have to take this input and then I have to write the logic. How to solve this particular code? Because if n was 8, the last number was not 8. The first number we know, the common difference we know, but we do not know the last number. Like till when the loop will run, right? That is what I'm talking about. We know there are three things in a loop. You have to understand the starting initialization, last number condition where it should break, and the jump. So here we can clearly see the first number is 4, the jump is 3, right? But what is the last number, that I do not know, and that depends on the series as well, right? It depends on the value of n. So we can of course find it out. The method number 1 is formula. Method number 1 is very simple. It is a mathematical formula, nth term formula. So most of you guys should know this formula. If you do not, it is a very bad thing. But anyways, we have a method 2 as well. So nth term formula is very simple, that nth term is equal to the first term plus n minus 1 multiplied by d, which is the common difference. So the nth term comes out to be a is 4, n is n, that I don't know, and the common difference is 3. You can expand it, 4 plus 3n minus 3. So it becomes 3n, 4 minus 3 is 1. So 3n plus 1 is your nth term. 3 multiplied by n plus 1 is your nth term. Perfect. Simple. So we have the last term. Now if n is equal to 8, I can say 3 into 8, 3 into 8 plus 1, which is 24 plus 1, 25. True. So it is a generalized term. So yes, we can use this particular term, and we know the jump. So we will directly the loop will only run 8 times only, because that is what we learned, because we know the jump. So ap.c, if I copy paste the code, not this code, not this code. Yeah, we can copy paste this. So if we copy paste a particular code, I say int n, I say printf, and then enter n, and then I say scanf %d, and then and n. Perfect. What I'm trying to say is, I know that okay, currently my series is 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on up to n number of terms. Okay, so I just calculated my nth term, which is 3n plus 1. It is not 3n plus 1, but yes. Okay, so 3n plus 1 is the nth term. So it will start from 4. I know the jump as well. I plus is equal to 3. Why? Because every single time 3 is being added. And the last term is 3n plus 1. Error number 1. I will run the code. It is giving an error. What is this? In computers, 3n is nothing. It is an invalid variable name. So 3 multiplied by n, you have to write it properly. Now it will work. Okay. So yes, enter n. If I say 8, exactly 4 to 25 is being printed. If I say, okay, print the first 15 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 terms of this arithmetic progression with the common difference equal to 3 is printed. So whatever n I give, the answer is correct. So this is maths. Like I have manually calculated in pen and paper this thing. But what if I do not know math? What can I do? Also, one more thing. With the help of this particular formula, we can print every single arithmetic progression ever. Because all we need is the first term that we will put over here. The first term. All we need is the nth term of the series and the common difference over here. That's it. If you know these three things, any single arithmetic progression you can print in using C programming. That's nice. Okay, let's move ahead, and the method number 2 that I was talking about. So method number 2. So method number 2. So the series is, for example, 4, 7, 10, 13, or whatever. Series can be anything. Okay, up to n terms. Right, perfect. What I'm trying to say is over here, how many rounds, the hint is how many rounds over here also. What do you think is the number, are the number of rounds? The number of times I is changing the value, but every single time when I is changing the value, I am printing it. So it is changing the value n number of rounds. So that is nice. Even though the last term is very big, 3 into n plus 1, but the number of rounds are n. So the second method focuses on the number of rounds. And in the second method, we use an extra variable. In this method, we use an extra variable. For example, variable a, b, c, or whatever, y, z, not I. Right, we use an extra variable. For example, a, just for example. And we initialize a variable with it. We increment the value of a every single time by the common difference. The loop, we won't change the structure of the loop. Like what we say is, we know that it has n number of terms, which says that the loop will have n iterations or rounds for sure. So what I will do is, I will make the loop something like this. I is equal to 1. Yes, 1 is not printed. Yes. Matlab, I won't take I to print it. I will only take I to decide what are the number of rounds. I is less than equal to n I plus plus. Just tell me, now whatever I write inside, it will run n times. Now this I will change. This I will change. First of all, over here something I will change. And here I will do some things. Okay, hear me out. I do not know what the nth term is, and I do not even want to calculate it. It is not even required. I will show you what I am talking about. The method number 2, also n number of rounds. You do int I is equal to 1. I is moving to n only. But the difference is, now I am not printing I. I am printing a variable a. And I am making a variable a. I am starting it with whatever the initial first term a is. Then I will make a variable over here. I can make a variable d. Like it is not required, but still. Here in this case, the common difference is 3. 4 plus 3 plus 3. After printing a, I will increment a, like I will add d to a. Simple. And then I will print it again and again. So this is the code. It looks bigger, but no mathematics is required. For example, if I say 10, first 10 terms are printed. Look, this was the 8th term, 9th, 10th. It is absolutely perfect. I do not require mathematics. But the logic is, I know that n times the loop will run. I am printing something else and I am then increasing it by d. So it is very simple. You can print any arithmetic progression by only changing two things over here. Not up to n terms. If you want to print anything, just change the first term and the common difference and you will get the corresponding arithmetic progression. For example, I want to print 1, 3, 5, 7, the odd number. So I can say it is starting from 1 every single time the difference is 2. Right? For example, 12 terms. Perfect. I only need to change now these two parameters. This code remains the same. So this is a very, very nice method. Very, very nice method. Right? I hope you guys are getting it. I'm not using the I variable to its advantage over here. Right? I'm only manipulating with the other variable. Let's move ahead. And you do not want to write this variable, you can remove this line and you can just say a plus is equal to 3. No problem. No problem. Let's move ahead. And because we learned method number 2, it is very, very important. It is very, very important. Why? To solve this particular question, I have to print this geometric progression. What is the geometric progression for those who haven't studied mathematics in class 11th? Absolutely fine. No problem. Geometric progression is again simple. Here it is a common ratio like 1 into 2, 2, 2 into 2, 4, 4 into 2, 8, 8 into 3, 16 and all. For example, this is also a geometric progression, 3, 12, 48. Like initially it is 3 into 4, 12 into 4, 48 into 4, whatever it is, like 96 into 2, 192 and so on. The ratio, common ratio, which is the same multiplier over here, it is 2. I have to print this up to n number of terms. Here, method 1, you should not use because it is not efficient, right? because method number 1 basically will say that, okay, here the nth term is a into r ki power, r to the power n minus 1. So for this we need a power function, and it is not cool, right? We haven't even studied it right now, but whatever. The point is, what we can say is, it is very simple. Again, what we are doing is, we will 1248, like we want this GP, right? I will copy paste this code. Let's make a GP over here, this entire code in fact. So gp.c, I copy paste the code. So now my problem statement is something like this, that okay, the GP is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 and so on up to n number of terms. I will use the same kind of code, that okay, what is the first term? Here it is 1 right now. I will use a common ratio, r I am saying, because every single time 2 is multiplied to the same number. Now again, this will remain the same because I want n number of terms. It gives a guarantee that the code will run n times until unless something is happening to the I. But anyway, now the point is, I'll print a, but I will now multiply it by r. Now what is happening? Please understand, this is a code of GP, not much change. I changed only here that D is changed with R. But the point is, now initially it is 1, then multiplied by 2, then multiplied by 2 and all. I do not even need to care about the nth term, like 15 terms. I do not even care about this. But I know all the 15 terms, 1028, 1024, 4096, 2048, everything is being printed, right? So method number 2 is very nice. From just 2 things, now if you want us other GP, like let's solve the homework as well, like this is your job, but 3 and the common ratio is 4. So just from here change 3, change the common ratio to 4, run the code. I'll say I need 7 terms. These are the 7 terms. Very simple. You only need to change these 2 things, right? Getting it? Okay. So let me do it again. Let me screenshot it. This is the kind of code that I'll paste it over here for your notes purpose as well. Okay. So let's move ahead. And let's move to the next topic, which is the break statement. Like the break keyword, we already kind of studied it in the switch statement, but not very nicely. So here we will cover it intensively. Break means to finish, to break something, to interrupt something, or to finish something, or to terminate, like not exactly, but computers may, it is to terminate, to get out of the loop. So basically what break does is to get out of the loop. Simple. So this is what break statement, break thing does. Right? Break is a special keyword. What it does is it gets out of the loop. So what I mean is, for example, let me show you what break is. So break.c, I believe, yes, we can use it as a name. Copy paste this code. Now, for example, let's make a basic code of 10 times printing, 1 to 10. Okay, I'm printing 1 to 10, 1 to 10. Okay, or maybe 1 to 100, whatever, it is your choice. So I printed 1 to 10. I told you the loop gets over only when, as of now, this condition fails. Like this is false. When this condition becomes false, when I is not less than equal to 10, it is greater than 10, then the loop breaks when I becomes 11. What break does is, if you want to finish the loop before the actual, like finishing the loop, right? If you want to go somewhere, but in the between you are leaving that thing, so that is what break does. For example, I say 100 only. 1 to 100 numbers are printed. Now I say I want to print the numbers from 1 to 100, but whenever I see 61, just for example, the number 61 or maybe 76, stop the loop. only print 1 to 76. So you will say, what are you saying even? If you want to print 1 to 76, just change over here, yes. But no, I'm just trying to give an example. So what break does is something like this. Usually break statements are introduced in if else blocks. So if I say if I say that, okay, if I is equal to 76, whenever I is 76, then break. So break is written like this, it becomes purple. Okay, so of course semicolon after every line. This is break, right? When break hits, whatever is below it won't run. So numbers from 1 to 75 will run. 1 to 75 are printed. You can see, not 1 to 76. Why? Because what happened was, it was supposed to go from 1 to 100. So 1, 2, 3, 4, everything was fine and this condition was false till 76 happened. When I was 76, it went inside loop. First of all, I 76, is 76 less than 100? Yes. Go inside the loop. Is 76 equal to 76? Yes. Break. Break means finish, khatam, tata, bye bye. Okay, so it means that whatever is written beneath it won't have any effect. If of course it was written above it, then it will be a different story. Then 76 will be printed. Let's run the code again. 76 will be printed. Why? Because now 76 is printed and now the condition is checked okay. Break. Break means loop over. You won't do any other round or anything which is beneath it. If if any print is beneath it or anything is beneath it, it is of no use. Break means finished. Okay, so this is what break does. Now this is, you might be thinking, why is break useful? It is. Let me show you how. So first of all, a question so that you can get the significance of break. So the question is something like this: write a program. Now WAP means write a program. So write a program to find the highest factor of a number n other than n itself. So what is the factor? Very simple. If n is 24, what are the factors of 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, I think 8, 12 and then 24. Yes. So 24 into 1 is 24, 2 into 20, 12 is 24, 3 into 8 is 24, 4 into 6 is 24, nothing else in natural numbers, right? So I want to find the highest factor of n. Highest factor of n is of course n itself, but other than n itself. So I think the highest factor is 12. Like, except the number itself, what is the highest factor? 12 is the highest factor. Now, what is the factor of a number? I think you guys should know. Factor of any number is what? Which is divisible by that number. Right? Yes, of course. So for example, I say that the definition is any number x or I, whatever, any number I is a factor of n, if n is divisible by I. If n is divisible, I'm not writing the most optimized code right now. I'm teaching you. So let me take a number n as well, input. So I took a number n input. So enter a number n, right? So from 1 to n, I can run the loop, but n should not be the case. So less than n. Why less than n? Because I do not want n to be the highest factor. That is why I'm not considering it. Anyways, I'm going through all the numbers. First of all, I have to check if n modulus I equal to 0. That means I is a factor. I is a, okay. So I is a factor. If I is a factor, first of all, the first code that we can do is print all the factors of n. Very simple. So including n itself. So what I can do is I can print the number. Okay. So I can print the number. Very, very simple. Run the code. If I say 24 or 24, all the factors of 24 are printed. So it is correct, of course. If I say, for example, 60, a lot of factors of 60 are there. They all are printed. Perfect. Now the highest factor, how to calculate the highest factor? First of all, let's remove this, so that what happens is the number itself does not come. All the other factors are there. Then what you can do is I can make a variable int fact I can initialize it with 1. And what I can say is every single time I find a factor from lowest to highest, because I'm going from 1 to n, every single time I am finding a factor, I will change the value of fact to the factor. So what is happening is, this condition happens when I is equal to 1, 2, 3 or whatever the factors, and I'm giving the value to fact. And after that I can print the fact itself. So I can print the highest factor. So percentage D, not percentage F. I can print this factor. Okay. If I say 24, highest factor is 12. If I say 49, the highest factor is 7. 17749. If I say 60, the highest factor is 30, except 60 itself. Right. So yes, the code is there. But this is a very bad code. Why is this not a nice code? Hear me out. If n was 24, first of all, the biggest thing that I was doing, I will remove it again after it. But the point is, I am running the loop n times from 1 to n, even less than n, but n minus 1 times I am running the loop. Same thing. Okay, I am running the loop n minus 1 times iterations. I am finding all the factors and then I am finding the highest factor. What if I traverse from n to 1, like n minus 1 to 1. Right now, what I am doing is, I am going to 1, from 1 to n minus 1. I can write it like n minus 1 as well, same thing. Same thing. Okay, do 24 to 12, same, 6, highest factor. The point is, instead of 1 to n minus 1 and going from smallest to largest, if I want to find the largest factorial factor, what I can do is I can just iterate, traverse, it is known as traverse, or iterate from reverse from n minus 1 to 1. And whenever I find a factor I do not want, for example, I'm at 24, I'm at 23 actually, from 1 to 23. Instead of 1 to 23 going the loop like 1, okay, it is a factor, 2, 3, 4 up to 23. Let's do something. Let's start from 23. 23 is a factor? No. 22 is a factor? No. Then 21, 20 and then 12. I found a factor. This has to be the highest factor because I'm starting from the reverse direction. And as soon as I find a factor, I want key no other, like I can just write the loop should run from 23 to 12 only, not 12 to 1. It is not required. From 1 to 12, it is not even required, right? So break statement is useful over here. I think you guys are getting it. So instead of this code, what I can do is from n minus 1 greater than equal to 1, I minus minus. But as soon as I find a factor, put fact to I, also do the break. Break means, okay, I found a factor, finished. I do not want to find any other factor. This is the highest factor. Let's run the code. 12. 60. The answer should be 30. Yes, it is correct. So are you guys, break significance, are you getting it? Yes. So that less number of times the loop is running. And break means, okay, at a particular point that I do not know right now, from 1 to 75, what I did, the example was not right. This is the perfect example. Okay, this is break. Now there is one more, I would say, a very nice thing, a very nice, I should say, whenever there are factors, guys, whenever, for example, a number is 64. I have a number 64. What are the factors? 1, 2, 4, then 16, 32, and then 8, sorry, 8, 8, 16, 32, 64. I'm writing it again. Why? Because 1 into 64 is 64, 2 into 32 is 64, 64, 64. But realistically speaking, if I ask you the number of factors of 64, what are the number of factors? This is the homework for you to calculate the number of factors. But anyways, if I want to find out the number of factors, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Yes. Right. There is a very beautiful thing that till the square root of any number, If there are no factors, then after the square root also there should be no factor. Of course, for any number like 41, the factors are 1, 41. That's it. 1 and the number itself are the factors. For some numbers like 49, 1, 7, 49, no other factors. What I'm trying to say, if before the square root of 49, there are x number of factors, after also there will be equal number of factors. If there are no factors, there will be no factors. It is a very nice observation. You can see before, like of course including 64, before the square root of 64, there are 3 factors, after there should be 3. This is valid for any number. 24, let's look at it. What is the square root of 24? It is almost equal to 5. 25 is 5. So 24 square root is 4.9 something. Of course 4.8, 4.9. Let's find out whatever. So the numbers smaller than 4.9 are 1, 2, 3, 4. The numbers greater than 4.9 are 1, 2, 3, 4. And they are in pairs. So if I find out that 2 is a factor of n, if also any number I is a factor of n if n is divisible by I. There is one more very beautiful statement. If I is a factor of n, then for sure n divided by I will also be a factor, will be a factor too. Like for example, if 3 is a factor of 24, then 24 by 3 also a factor. Always. This is always true. Okay. So we do not need to go all out to find out all the factors. We can just go to the square root and then you guys know the drill, right? That if it is divisible or not, and then print the number itself and the other number as well, right? So this is the scene over here. So if there is a code of, for example, all the factors of a number, if I want to print factors.c, forget the highest factor. If I want to print the factor of a c, so the code was something like this. The code was something like this, that to print all the factors of n, I do not even need this. What I did initially was, I went to n, including n. If it is divisible, then print it. Do not need this. Let's run. Enter n. If I say 24, all the factors of, okay, so do it again. For example, 60. Let's do it again. All the factors of 60 are being printed. Yes, they are being printed. Perfect. But for a number n, for example, n was 10,000, right? If I say n is 10,000. So only number of factors of 10,000 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Just 25 factors. But this loop is running n times. The problem is this. So if n is 10,000, this loop is running 10,000 times for only 25 things. Very bad. What I can clearly do is, in all these numbers, even in 10,000, if I write 10,000, I am giving an example. Just wait a minute, I will write the factors. So guys, just let's move on to here. Okay. So these are the factors of 10,000. For example, like 1 into 10,000, I have written in pairs. So 1, 2, this, and now this. So of course in pairs, they are always in pairs. This is alone. This is alone. This is the square root. Okay, this is alone. This is the square root. But rest, pair, because pair means 5 into 2,000, 10,000, 10,000. The multiplication of all these pairs are 10,000. You can see 16 into 625 is 10,000, right? So what I can do is, the rule is, there is one more observation, that all the factors of n, if there is a square root of n, okay, it comes only once. But if there are, for example, there are x factors, like you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Before the square root of n, then 100% there will be x factors after the square root of n. So if you want to calculate the total number of factors, it is very simple. You can only run the code till the square root of n, and you can print, in fact, like 1 and 10,000, 2 and 5,000, 4 and 2,500. Both of them you can print these numbers and these numbers as well, because if this is I, this is n divided by I. Of course, what I'm trying to say is even a more optimized code to find all the factors of numbers, not n, you can write sqrt of n. Now for this is a built-in function. This is known as sqrt bracket n. I have not taught this, but I will teach this. For this, you have to write one more statement. Copy and paste the include stdio.h and write math.h. Yes. So what we will do is from 1 to square root we will go. If it is divisible, of course, then only it is a factor. I will print the number, and I will also print this number. So let's run the code. For example, now if I say 1000, so what are the, not 1000, I can say 900. What are the factors of 900? 1 900, 2 450, 3 30, right? In pairs they are coming. 4 to 25 are the factors. These are the factors. These are the factors. 12 and 75, right? And 30 and 30 are the factors. Now it is coming 2 times. So you can do clearly one thing, that okay, if you are printing all of these things, so you can clearly do one thing, that okay, if I is not equal to n divided by I, because this is n by I, so only print n by I when these are not equal. So via this we can remove the possibility of 2 times 30, but rest are in pairs. Very simple, right? So this is a very optimized approach. Even for 10,000, now the loop is running what? The square root of 10,000 is 100, only 100 times. So this is running sqrt of n times, which is a very low number. But anyways, let's move ahead to the next topic. Very heavy, I know. Write a program to check if a number is composite or not. Can you do this thing? Yes, using bool. I will teach you what bool is, and then I will teach you how to solve this particular question. A number is composite when? Very simple. How to check if a number is composite? If it has a factor. Any number is composite if it has a factor other than 1 and in itself. Any other factor, it will be a composite number. 49 is composite, 4 is composite, right? 41 is not composite. So, but now for example, 24 is a composite number, but 24 has a lot of factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. I only need to find one factor, just one, apart from 1 and n itself. So from 2 to n minus 1 included, if there is any number which is divisible by 24, it is a composite number, and after that I do not even need to check. So I will show you the significance of break statement. So composite dot c, I will show you what I am trying to say. Of course we do not need math.h right now, as of now. So I am taking a number n, Now the code is something like this. I say that okay, I run the code from 2 to n minus 1. Why? Because 1 and n are always the factors. So if from 2 to n minus 1 I find a factor, it means it is a composite number. So I can clearly print that okay, composite number. Simple. I do not even want to print this I. Composite number. That's it. The only problem in this particular code is this. If I say 24, composite. Why? Because every single time I found a factor, like 2 is a factor, 3 is a factor, 4 is a factor, 6 is a factor, 12 is a factor, 24 is a factor. 24 should not come. So 2 is a factor, 3 is a factor, 4 is a factor, 6 is a factor, 8 is a factor, right? And 12 is a factor. So every factor except 1 and n, for every factor it is coming out multiple times. I want only once. So if you have already printed, break it. Why are you letting the loop run in again and again? Composite number. But now this is the right code for composite numbers. If first of all, if I say n is equal to 1, nothing is coming. Yes, it is not a composite number. If I say a prime number 3, nothing is coming. 2, nothing is coming. I say 41, nothing is coming because these are not composite number. What about prime numbers? Let's solve the code for prime numbers. The next question is write a program to check if a number is prime or not. How to check if a number is prime? So for that we will use boolean or maybe integers, whatever it is. We will initially use a storage solution. I'll tell you what I try to mean by that. But anyways, a number is prime when? When it is not composite. So when it is not composite. Simple. When it is not composite. Right? Very, very simple. Very simple code. In this exact same code, I will tell if a number is composite or prime. So this is only printed in a certain condition. What I will do is I'll create a variable x. I will store in this variable 0. Now this 0 means, please remember, or maybe 1, but 0 means prime. 0 means prime basically means that, okay, if it is not unchanged, it will be prime. So whenever I found a factor, it means it is a composite number. Before breaking, do a thing, give x is equal to 1. And 1, if x is 1, I am saying that, okay, 1 means composite. Now after this loop is finished, the problem with prime number was nothing was being printed. In composite, it was clear. After it, I can check, okay, is x equal to 1? If it is 1, it clearly means it was 0. It was 0. Something happened over here. So if it is still 0, sorry. If it is 1, the composite is printed. If x is 0, it means, okay, it was 0. And throughout this loop, this condition never came, because if this condition came, x should have been changed. If it is still unchanged, then you can print that, okay, it is a prime number. Let's run the code. Now if I say 41, it is a prime number. I say 2, it is a prime number. I say 3, it is a prime number. I say 4, it is a composite number. I say 5, it is a prime number. I say 6, it is a composite number. I say 7, it is a prime number. 8, it is a composite number. I say 9, it is a composite number. Of course, 9 is a composite number. If I say 10, composite number. If I run 11, prime number. So everything is working except one more thing. Now if I say 1, prime is printed. Why? Because it was 0. So before this, what I need to do is, I need to also check one more thing, that, okay, if the n was 1, print neither prime nor composite. Neither prime nor composite. You can print this. And here you will write else if. Why? Because this will only run when this is not running. Are you guys getting it? So I'm adding one more condition. So 1, neither prime nor composite. 2, prime. 4, composite. Everything is working. So this is known as storing something. This is known as storing and then checking. This x is very important. Now, if ever in an integer we are only storing two values, for example 0 and 1, two values. So we use boolean. What is boolean? Boolean is like this, bool. We write, instead of int we write bool, but to use bool we will include one more header file. These are known as header file, which is stdbool.h. Very important. Always remember. So I say bool x or maybe bool y. So this is also a variable. And in bool I store false or I store true. Also, instead of true I can write 1. 1 means true. In general, 1 means true and 0 means false in computers. So bool is that kind of box that only store two values. Integer stores a lot of values. Right, bool only stores two values. So the point was, instead of making it x, instead of making it bool int, you can use bool. So bool x is equal to 0. I am marking if it is 0 means prime, if it is like 1, it means composite. I can do one more thing. I can say x is equal to 0. I can mark it as false. It is my choice. I can do 0 as well. Okay, 0 is absolutely valid. Now this is a valid thing, no problem. the code will still run. The code will still run. But some less space will be taken. Anyways, let's come to the next topic. Let me just copy this code because this is a big code. So you can get it in the notes. Alright guys, let's move to the next topic, which is the continue keyword. So we already know the break keyword. Is continue the opposite of break? Not really, but what continue does is a very simple thing. You need to remember break and continue first of all are not opposites. Okay, that creates confusion. Break again, as I wrote, it is simply to get out of the loop. Okay, it breaks the loop. But what continue does, it breaks the entire loop, the break thing. Continue skips a particular iteration. Like a particular 1 or 2 or maybe X number of rounds, it skips, it misses. Okay, and then moves to the next round. For example, if you want to solve this question that write a program to print odd numbers from 1 to 100 again, but using continue statement, using continue, or maybe skipping the even numbers. So I will teach you how to do this with continue. Very simple. Continue is not a big deal, but you just need to know. So 1 to 100 odd continue dot c. So I'm making one more file. I think, is there a file of 1 to 100 even? Like where is 1 to 100? Yes, there is 100 to 1. So let me copy paste the 1 to 100 code. First of all, from 1 less than equal to 100 I plus plus. This is the 1 to 100 code. All of us know as of now. Okay, perfect. To print the odd numbers, what we can do is if the number is odd, but I'm going to teach you continue. So what we will do is if the number is even, please remember to print odd number. If the number is even, then skip. So again, continue when this keyword is hit, then whatever is beneath, below this particular line won't run for the particular iteration. Otherwise, it will run. For example, dekho, it will print all the odd numbers. But what is happening? The thing which is happening is, for example, I is 1. Is 1 even? No. Then print 1. Then I is equal to 2. Is 2 even? Yes. Continue. Continue means skip. Move to the next round. Immediately move to the next round. I plus plus. Right. So it is basically skipping a particular round. That's it. Very simple. Let's move ahead. It is not a big deal. Let's talk about the second loop, which is while loop. And to be very honest, we can use the for loop every single time, but sometimes while loop is being used, right? What is while loop? Again, it is what we studied right now is a for loop. While loop is a alternate, you can say, alternate to for loop. The biggest question is when to use while loop and when to use for loop. Here, of course, it is while. We use while loop. We use while loop when we do not know, when we do not know what is incremented, or maybe, there are multiple things which are incremented, decremented, or the value is changed in a lot of fashion. Okay, so while loop is, technically speaking, you can use the for loop every single time. But while loop is a cleaner method sometimes. We use, or maybe I use while loop when the increment decrement, or maybe like it is not just key every single time I will be incremented, or I minus minus, or maybe I plus is equal to 19. It can be multiplied as well. There can be a lot of things in the increment decrement thing, right? Change, basically, I will say. When the change in the number whose condition is there, when the change is weird, or maybe it is complex. Okay, we use for loop when we 100% know that okay, this will be the increment, or we know that we want to know, we 100% know that these will be the number of rounds that will be used. Okay, that's it. Then we use for loop, but you will get to know while practice. But anyways, let's move to the while loop. Let's go over here and while.c, and let's copy this code of 1 to 10, maybe not 1 to 100. I'll show you using while loop again. This is for loop. If I say 1 to 10, 1 to 10 will be printed, no problem. 1 to 10 is being printed, no problem. But the point was, I said that in for loop, the thing is that in for loop, the thing is that the steps were initialization happens only once. Then condition, go inside loop, increment. It was weird. It was a U. While loop, to do this exact same thing, 1 to 10 in a while loop, is kind of more logical, should I say. Okay, so while loop is something like this. While loop is, I'm commenting this thing. While loop is, you do the initialization or and the declaration before the loop. So I say int I is equal to 1, not in the loop, in the curly bracket, round bracket of the loop. Then I say while, I only write one thing. In for loop, I write three things at max. While loop, I only write one thing, which is the condition. So for example, the condition is same, I is less than equal to 10, because I want to replicate this code 1 to 10. Then inside it, of course, I print, then I increment. So this is a replacement to the for loop directly. It will also print 1 to 10. If I want to print 12 to 200, I can do that as well. This is more logical in the sense that in the steps method that I wrote that initialization declaration is done once, and then check, go inside loop, increment. So this is more natural, like check, go inside loop, increment, then again check, and only go inside loop when this is true, right? So basically while loop is something like this, that the increment is up after whatever the body you wrote, right? And then there's the condition, the initialization over only happen once. This loop runs again and again. Very simple. So this is while loop, right? Again, I told you we use the while loop. We use the while loop when we have a problem with this increment. Problem as in we are changing in this I, we are I or whatever the variable of the condition of the loop. If we are changing it quite a bit, like we are not just incremented or decrementing or multiplying it, we are adding something and then multiplying it with something else and then modifying it. Then we use while loop if we have multiple things that we want to change about I. Here we are only doing one condition. If we want to do multiple increments, decrements, multiplications and all in a single iteration, we use while loop. That is my say, like you can use the while loop otherwise as well. No problem. Okay, let's move ahead. So there is, this is the while loop, that's it. There is one more loop, do while loop. This is useless. This is useless. Now, why is this useless? Again, this is a replacement for loop and while loop directly. The syntax is you write do and then you write the body of the loop, right? And then you write while and then the condition. So the do while loop is something like this. For example, I want to print 1 to 10 numbers. Again, I will copy and comment this. The above code is commented. Do while loop, using do while loop, again, you have to do the initialization first. Then you say do. And you do not mention the condition over here. You just do. In do, you write the body, you write the increment or decrement. Then here you give a single space, you can give while and then the condition, and then very important, a semicolon. So this also does this same job. Run the code, 1 to 10 will be printed. So this is useless because the code is very weird. What is this? I mean, initialization, okay, we are not even checking the condition, going in the loop, incrementing and then checking. Right, of course it is not, it is very hard to remember also. But if anyone asks you, you never use the do while loop in your coding career, as in you can use, but in the coding interviews and all. But in college exams, if there is a question, write the differences between for, while and do while loop. And when do we use do while loops? So basically, of course, the similarity is that okay, it does the same job, but the difference between while and for is not a great difference. It is a difference, but do while loop, there is a difference. Let me show you the difference. So do while, here I will show you the difference. Do while dot c. So now for example, I am commenting this thing and I am uncommenting this. If we never tried this thing really, right? If we start it with 11, if we start I with 11, for example, if we started with 4, so numbers from 4 to 10 will be printed. Yes. But if we started with 11, so nothing will be printed. Yes. Why? Because initially the value of I is 11. The condition is checked. Is 11 less than 10? No. Loop khatam. Loop is finished. Everything is finished. No round is happening. Right? Okay. Same thing in while loop. Same thing in while loop. In while loop also, if I started with a number which the condition, if I start the value of, if I give the value of I to be a certain value which is making the condition of while loop to be false, then the loop won't happen. Nothing will be printed again. But in do while loop, what happens is, if I start with 11, one number will be printed, which is 11. Because initially I is 11, I didn't check the condition. Immediately 11 is printed, it is 12. The condition is failed, loop over. Are you guys getting it? But it is very interesting, right? If I started from 1, then only 1 to 10 was printed and not 11 was printed. Okay. So do while loop, in do while loop, what happens is, if the condition of the loop is false, even if the condition is false, there will be minimum one round. So in do while loop, let me just screenshot as well. This is the important example. So this is do while loop, like this is useless, okay. In do while loop, at least one round or iteration happens. So this is the difference. Do while loop. Let's move to some questions, and then good questions on loops, and then we will finish the lecture. Let's move ahead and predict the output questions, some homeworks for you. So the first question is, when I write main, it is int main and hash include everything. Anyways, so int j, okay. While j is less than equal to 10, what will be the output of this loop? It will give an error, or maybe it will print nothing. Why? This is declaration. There is no initialization happening. If, and in C programming, I didn't tell you, if I just make a box, I do not initialize it with anything, a garbage value is being stored. A garbage value, like it can be anything. It is usually a very big value. So, for example, 1,40,000 or whatever, I'm just guessing. So the loop won't run. And of course, this loop was, if it was j is equal to 1, then 1 to 10 would have been printed. J is equal to j plus 1 means j plus plus. And instead of I am using j. That's it. But this code won't run. Let's do predict1.c. Let's copy paste the code. And I think this is the while loop. So this was the code. Okay, this is the code. So it is int j, and it is, if it is int j is equal to 1, j less than equal to 10, I'm writing the exact same code, so you guys do not have any problem. It is \n first, no problem. J is equal to j plus 1. So this is the exact same code, right? You can see. Okay, you can verify. Now, of course, not this int j. This will give 1 to 10 printing, right? With \n first. But if I do not initialize it, what will happen? Nothing is printed. Why? Let me print j first. If I print j over here, of course, the condition failed. But why did it fail? Like the nothing was printed because j was not less than equal to 10. That is why nothing was printed. But let me print j first and check what is the value of j. So this weird garbage value. So again, this is a very big number, greater than 10, nothing is printed. It is random, like 5 lakh something, whatever it is. It is very random. Okay, so this is known as a garbage value if it is not initialized, right? Yes, if the garbage value is something like minus 10,000, then things can be weird, but usually it is not. Anyways, so another predict the output, right? So int I is equal to 1 while I is less than equal to 10. Okay, of course, one more thing, I can make the bracket over here or like this opening bracket over here as well. I didn't tell you, like in while loop, same thing, right? Let's go to do while. Even in this do while loop, same thing, right? It is like the main function. I can do the main function bracket over here as well, right? Perfect. Also, if your loop has only one line, for example, let's go to this 100 to 1, right? Only the body contains only one line, then you can do this as well. It will give the same answer from 100 to 1. You can do this as well, like completely remove these things. If else, only one statement, you can ignore the curly brackets, same thing. And in fact, you can even come do this, like if else. So this is also valid, but only one line if you have. If you have multiple lines, then use the brackets. Anyways, coming back to this part. So this clearly means, okay, so the body of the loop is here. I'm doing a big mistake. Please write in the comments what is the mistake. So int I is equal to 1, very normal. I less than equal to 10, okay. I am printing the value of I and plus plus. So you might be thinking that the output will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, you might be thinking this. This is wrong. Take a moment and guess why is it wrong? It is wrong. Everything in this code is right. Everything except this. Whenever in a while loop I write this, it means it is over. Now these things are not a part of this while loop. So yes, I think printf, if I say I and I is 1, so 1 will be printed. So the output can be this. But this is not part of this while loop. Why? Because this finishes the while loop. Let me show you. So while I told you, okay, here is do while. Let's forget about the do while thing. Let's print 1 to 10. Right, this was the code, right? This is the code. And if you want to me to be 100% correct, okay, this is the code. This is the code right over here. That is predict the output. If I run it, of course, 1 to 10 will be printed. But if I say this and then run it, first of all, it is giving a warning. Second of all, it is not printing anything, but it is taking input because these things are in a block of these curly brackets. So of course, it will give a warning. It should print 1 in certain languages, but again, as you guys expected, 1 to 10 is not printed. Right? 1 to 10, let me finish it. Warning. Because the like while loop has empty body. This means empty body. This means empty body. Right? I think you guys are getting it. This means empty body. Same goes for example, if I say the for loop. If I just, this is fine. 1 to 10 will be printed. Okay, same thing. Let's remove it, run it again. 1 to 10 is printed. But if I do this, first of all, a warning will be there and nothing is printed. Warning will be there and what is undeclared identifier over here. Okay, yes. Now, why is this a warning? First of all, let's go over here. Yes. Come over here. First of all, I haven't taught you about scopes. So then let's just leave it. In for loop as well, we can declare over here and initialize it over here. There is no problem, right? We can declare it outside, initialize over here, right? It will of course print if I remove this 1 to 10. Like please run it correctly. Yes, 1 to 10. Why? Because this is a one line, so I didn't use the brackets, right? Perfect. But if I do this, nothing will be printed. Let's run it again. Yes, 11 is being printed, right? Yes, why 11 is printed? Because now this is a homework for you. Warning, please ignore the warning. Warning means, okay, this should not happen. Empty body, right? But the point is 11 is being printed. Why? Because I was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this loop is running 10 times, but nothing is printed because it is empty. Basically, this means if I write for and then this semicolon, it means this empty body. Okay. Of course, it is not giving an error, but yes, it is running 10 times, but it is empty body. Okay, so this thing is exactly like this. Okay, let's move ahead. And let's talk about this is a homework. Please have a look, do it yourself. X is equal to 1, the condition and everything. Write it down. I think you guys did. Let's move ahead. This is also a homework. Very nice question. Star mark. Take a screenshot. Do it yourself. Okay. Now this is a very nice question. We are moving to our next topic. Beautiful topic. Int I, while I equal to 10, it is written. Okay. Printf I is equal to I plus 1. Now what is this? This is very weird, right? What will be the answer? So I am giving you a hint with the name. Okay. I am giving you a hint. For example, I say this, or maybe let's initialize it. No problem. Over here as well, we can initialize it also, but it's our choice anyways. No problem. Let's not initialize it. If you have like seen it, is this a condition while I equal to 10? No. Assignment operator, sorry. So this is known as assigning the value of I to 10. Anyways, coming here. So if I printf and I say backslash n first, anyways, I can do it afterwards as well. Okay. And I'm printing the value of I, and then I'm saying I is equal to I plus 1 or maybe I plus plus. It is not giving any error if I run the code. So lots of 10 are being printed, you can see. Okay, and this is not stopping. This is not stopping. I have to close it. This is known as an infinite loop. Infinite loop. Why? What is infinite loop? Infinite loop means it never ends. Why would it end? Initially it is nothing, garbage value. When I say I equal to 10, it is basically giving the value 10. Also, I is equal to 10 means this is true. Basically, I is equal to 10 means true. Or maybe something like this to teach you more about it. If I say I is equal to 1 and then I say I greater than equal to 0 and then I print, this will also give infinite loop. Okay, so you can see, okay, the numbers are increasing, increasing, increasing and they are not stopping. Please, let's close the code. So what is happening is I was 1. Is 1 greater than equal to 0? Yes, print 1. I is equal to 2. 2 greater than 0? Yes, print 2. 3 greater than 0? Print 3. So everything is greater than 0 and the number is increasing and increasing. There is not a stopping condition anywhere. So when the loop runs infinitely, it is known as an infinite loop. I think you guys are getting it. Same was the case with this. Every single time when I was here, so what was happening was again and again I was given the value like I is equal to 10 means okay, I is 10. Then printf 10, 10 is printed. I plus 1, I becomes 11. Then again it comes to the condition part. The condition says I is equal to 10, it becomes 10. Then 10 prints, 10 becomes 11, 10 prints, 10 becomes 11. It is happening so and so, right? Infinite loop. Okay, so you can write error or the output is 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 infinitely. Let's move to the next question. Again, an infinite loop question. While, of course, if I write while and then a single line, it means it is inside the while body. I say while A is less than B, these are characters. Print Malayalam is a palindrome. What do you think will be the answer? Infinite loop. Infinite loop. So again, if this in this infinite loop, I'll give you one more example. If I say while and I say A is less than B and I am printing what backslash n and Malayalam is a palindrome. Yes, it is. And I run this code perfectly fine, no errors. But you can see infinitely times, many times it is printed. So close the code, close the terminal. Okay. Because this is infinite loop. Why? Basically, when I compare any character with another character, or if I compare any character with an integer, what happens is, for example, if I say while a is less than 100, again infinite times it will be run, because a is 97. So 97 is 97 less than 100. So while means till when the condition is true, so it is always true. 97 is always less than 100. It will always be printed. So of course, if I compare A and B, it clearly means that 97 is less than 98. It is just that, and it is always true. So the loop breaks when the condition is false, but in this case, it will never be false. Let's move ahead. This is a homework for you guys. Please have a look to it yourself. Let's move ahead. This is again a homework for you guys. Take a screenshot. Very nice question. Do it slowly, that okay, x is equal to 4, y is equal to 0. Z has nothing to do with it. Please ignore it. This is the question. And then you have to consider from in which body if else is happening. Again, like in these questions, while loop is very necessary when there are two variables. Like for loop, maybe it can happen, but while is a better habit. Take a screenshot. Okay. One more homework. Take a screenshot. Solve this particular question. This is a very nice question, by the way. Better than the last one. Okay, again. It might look like it is same, but it is not. So guys, this was it for the particular video. In the next video, I will teach you, I will go through some questions using operators. Very, very important. Like these are the questions from which you will learn the actual implementation of loops. And also I will teach you pattern printing, right? It can be in a separate video, but I'll try to do the pattern printing and the questions of loops, because these also comes in loops in the same video. Bye.